Shalom, all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Ba'asham, Racha, Kwadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of great millstone who rule well, pushing his mind to represent the truth of the gospel, waking up and sealing the elect of the nation of Israel through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh. And salutations to all your sincere Akim that are pushing this gospel in all righteousness and in all sincerity, risking your lives and your freedom to do so. Right? This is your brother Abawa, and I'm back with another video, and the title of this video will be a spiritual temple. Right, so you know what the scripture says in the book of, and let me just go to that real quick, the book of Acts, because this is a basic lesson, that's why I need to go into it real quick, just a little bit of a recap. Since I had nothing better to do today, except for this work, of course. Book of Acts 7 verse 47, and it reads, "Howbeit the Most High dwelleth not in temples made with hands, as saith the prophets." I think there are actually two different verses that go into this video, because you know that and that's how you know that this is alright. That this is what the and you know that this is doctrine, right? That this is the correct way to look at this. To look at this, because because you already know what it says. Okay, it's plain to read. There's no parable, there's no hidden meaning, there's no extra layer under it that you have to peel back. Alright, it's quite simple. The Most High does not dwell in temples made with hands. Alright, because what? Let me get that. Let me continue on from Acts 7 verse 49 now. "Heaven is my throne, and earth is my footstool. What house will ye build me, saith Yahweh? Or what is the place of my rest? Hath not my hand made all these things?" And that's right, because this is how basically how the Most High works, man. Because everything that we do for Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, in all actuality, if you really think about it in the grand scheme of things, it is pointless, alright? It's basically foolishness. That's why scripture said that word, through the foolishness of prophecy. If you really want to think about it, not that I'm saying that it is actually is what it is, but in the grand scheme of things, going out to the highways and byways to prophesy, it doesn't make any sense, right? Since we already know that the elect are sealed and there is no way that they will not be saved. The two-thirds won't get it and they will be destroyed, right? Making a temple for the Most High is no actuality, in the grand scheme of things, it's actually very stupid, because now the Most High does not dwell in temples made with hands. Everything that we use, to make the temple was built by the Most High. If he wanted to make a temple, he could have built it by himself. All right. Doing the daily sacrifice for our sins is also does not make any sense, because we're basically sacrificing what the Most High created to him. We're giving him his own property as sacrifice. You see how foolish. You see how foolish these things are if you think about it in grand. If you think about it, in the grand scheme of things, but we still do it this way because we were commanded to, alright? But the reason why we do these things is because we were commanded to, because the Most High told us, "Go out to the highways and byways and prophesy." And it's even written in the scriptures that through the foolishness of prophesying. Now let me get that. Because that is the way that the Most High had chosen to, rather that's the way that Yahweh Hashem Yahushua had chosen to deliver us, or chosen to, alright, through the foolishness of preaching. That was what I was looking for. Through the foolishness of preaching. Let me get that. So let's see it right here. 1 Corinthians 1 verse 21. "For after that, in the wisdom of the Most High, the world by wisdom knew not the Most High. It pleased the Most High by the foolishness of preaching to save them that believed." Right, and that's how the Most High decided to bring back our people to Him, bring back the elect, alright, by through the way of prophesying, through the way of preaching. And that word "preach" means what? To teach. So we all had to come back to this thing by learning, alright, of our heritage, learning the fact of our Hebrew Israelites, learning the ways of Yahweh Bashmi, learning the names of the Most High and His Son, learning about prophecy, about what will happen, about the things that are going to come, the breakdowns and the like. Right, and it also says, going back to the main topic, it also says that we the people of Israel, right? We are the temple of the Most High, because all these physical temples, all these buildings where all the heathen because all these physical temples, they are basically just buildings where all the heathen keep their dumb idols. And we always say this, okay, that the Most High, our power, it cannot be put in a box, okay, both literal, both in a literal and metaphorical sense, alright. And the Most High isn't going to be found in a single place, because we know the scripture says that the Most High is in all things. And let me get that precept right now. Okay, the other one where it goes into the Most High being in, so this book of Acts 17 verse 24, and it reads, the Most High that made the world and all things therein, seeing that he is Lord of heaven and earth, dwelleth not in temples made with hands. And that's telling you right there what you Yahweh Bashim Yahweh he is. Right? He's the creator of both of the heavens and the earth. He's the creator of all things. Okay, so he can't just be, so basically, and let me see if I can bring that one out as well. I think that is in the book of Second Samuel 7. Where basically the most I was telling King David when he went to build a temple, that is there a building that is mighty enough to hold his presence. So let me get that. Let me find that. Alright, this is the book of Second Samuel 7 verse 5, and it reads, go and tell my servant David, thus saith Yahweh, shalt thou build me an house for me to dwell in? Whereas I have not dwelt in any house since the time that I brought the children of Israel up out of Egypt, even to this day, but have walked in a tent and in a tabernacle. In all the places wherein I have walked with the children of Israel, speak I a word with any of the tribes of Israel, whom I commanded to feed my people Israel, saying, why build ye not me an house of cedar? Alright, and the reason why this precept right here is so relevant is because the Most High goes on to say that King Solomon, David's son, will be the one to build the temple of the Most High, which of course we know in the reincarnation that Solomon is Yahweh Shai, which is why this is significant, alright, because the temple of the Most High, the temple of the Most High will be built by Yahweh Shai, will be the temple. Okay, and now we're going into, it's no longer going to be a physical temple anymore, which of course in the kingdom there is going to be a physical temple, but the main temple, right, the real temple, the temple that actually matters, is a spiritual one, right? The temple that is what, as scripture said, is the kingdom of heaven is in you. Okay, the temple that is dwelling, that is inside, that is in the spirit of every single Israelite, both male, female, and even children, especially when you're in this, especially especially when you're in this truth, alright? Because these hidden idols, those are the ones that are in temples, as the scripture says. Let me go to that as well. Like I said, those are the ones that are in the temples, because those temples were created to, they are created as a piece of worship, and also created to protect them. This book of Psalms 155, and I'll start from verse 3. And it reads, but our power is in the heavens, he hath done whatsoever he hath pleased. Their idols are silver and gold, the works of men's hands. They have mouth, but they speak not. Eyes have they, but they see not. They have ears, but they hear not. Noses have they, but they smell not. They have hands, but they handle not. Feet have they, but they walk not. Neither speak they through their throat. And this is talking about all these idols, because when the heathen want to pray, they have to go over to their temples or their little altars and have to bow down their heads and pray, not to pray to their idols, because that is the only place where they can find these idols. But these idols, in all actuality, they have no power, alright? But these heathens don't actually know that they just made, they just carved a piece of stone in a certain shape and turned that into a god, right? They carve a piece of metal or wood or something in a certain shape and turn that into a god, and that is all that is, wood, stone, or anything that they use. But the Most High, that is the true power. That's the power that who you pray to, right, and you get answers. You actually get results from it. Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, and that is the Most High. That is the true name of the Most, and that is the Most High. And if you and we already understand the power of using those names in prayer, okay, but all these things are done for vain worship. Okay, there's no physical place that you can point to and say 100% without a doubt, that that catch it anytime. The Most High will be there, and and you should, and I'm not talking about saying that, because the reason that like I already said, that the Most High is in everything. What I'm saying is that the Spirit of the Lord is there, that you can go there, and the Spirit will always be there, the Spirit will always be walking there. Alright, like these temples, or these what I'm thinking about the most is these wacky tacky Christian churches that like to pretend that they are building it somehow special, alright, but just for it's just I forgot how the apostles usually say it, but basically just the normal, just a normal building, alright. There's nothing special about that building except for what it's basically a whorehouse, used to worship these idol gods, alright. Because our dealings in this truth is in the spirit, using the spiritual. That's why the two temples are destroyed. Going back into the history, because Yahweh Hashem Yahushai deals through the spirit. Right, when our people lost, lost that spirit, lost, went off and stopped, when they went off and stopped following the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. He destroyed our people, scattered them, and destroyed that temple as well, showing you that the Most High wasn't even in that temple to begin with, right? Because the main temple, alright, and I'm going to go back to that, but let me just say this: if the worshippers or the worship isn't right, right, no matter how fancy the temple, because the first temple that Solomon built, reading the descriptions, when it was really fancy, it was one of those buildings where you go in, and your judge basically just drops to the ground. Use the best wood, the best stones, the best, use gold for all of the, for everything that was on the altar, the cups, the shields, shields of gold, plates of gold, and all that. But yet at the end of the day, the Most High still destroyed it and carried everything that was in that temple out. Or rather, let the heathen carry everything that was in that temple out. And even going as far as in his, and even in second temple, let the heathen, sacrifice unclean animals in that temple, because the worshippers and the worship wasn't right. All right, and that word worship, it goes back to being worthy. Basically worship the Most High because what? He is worthy to be worshipped, worthy to be praised. Brother, the temple of the Most High has always been Jake, alright? That's why the scripture said that we should not defile, that we are the temple of the Most High, and we should not defile our temples. And how do we defile these temples? By going off, by disobeying the words of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. So let me get this precept, alright? Because once the temples, the true temples, alright, the real temple, which is our bodies, because the Most High, the Most High wasn't dealing with, let's see, the Most High isn't dealing with a building. His covenant was not with a building or with a what's what I'm looking for, whether a building or with any temple, but it was with the Israelites, with our people. So wherever we are, wherever Israel is, wherever Jake is, that's where the Most High will be, man. Especially Jake that is right, Jake that is in the truth, because we know that we have billions upon millions of Jakes everywhere on the earth. So this book of Matthew 18 verse 20, and it reads, "For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them." Because we know that we have these camps out here that are saying that the name of the Most High that there's no name, or that the Most High does not have a name, that he only has titles upon titles upon titles, even though there are various pieces going into that. But I'm not going to do a video on that, because I already said that I would leave. I've already said that I would leave this, the rebuke of these other camps to brothers that are at a higher level than me. All right, and going back to the main topic. This is a temple that can't be torn down by human hands. Temples that the temple that's basically what the spiritual temple of the Most High, which are us, the Israelites, us that are in this truth, the hopeful elect, as it were. Right, because it grows and it keeps on growing stronger and stronger, because more people coming into the temple is more people. More Jake waking up and coming into this truth, is the temple getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Right, even if somebody just get one one of the brothers, which of course you already know that we have that protection, so it won't happen until the famine of the world and Jacob's struggle begins. But even if someone manages to get one of the brothers, it doesn't change anything, because the more time that passes, more Israelites are waking up, more people are coming into this truth, more of the elect are sealed, and once all of the elect is sealed, that's the complete temple on this side right here, alright, on this side, because we know that on the other side, the main temple will be all the 12 tribes of Israel, so every single Israelite. Because what the scriptures say, let me get that. I believe that is Revelation the 3rd chapter. I believe that is either the 3rd chapter and the 12th verse. Let me get that. The way it says that so this is the book of Revelation 3 verse 12. "Him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of my power, and he shall go no more out, and I will write upon him the name of my power, and the name of the city of my power, which is New Jerusalem, which cometh down out of heaven from my power, and I will write upon him my new name. Right, and this is going into the Yahweh, because you can see the letters are in red, and it's talking about the elect, right? Which of course we pray that we are a part of that number. That when we are delivered, right? When the elect are delivered, that will become what temples. They will become pillars in the new temple that is being built. So the third temple, right, is in the process of being built right now. Will be completed in the kingdom. And that third temple is a spiritual temple, and that spiritual temple comprises of the elect, all right, and eventually the whole nation of Israel, because we will be that temple. Of course, there will be a physical temple, but who will be the people in the physical temple? Who will be the people that are worshiping, officiating in the physical temple, doing all the work and the acts in the physical temple? It will still be the Israelites. The spiritual temple will be in the physical temple, and that will still be. If you get the idea. All right, and this thing of ours that doesn't need a physical location, right? Because we're all connected by the spirit. It doesn't need every single brother that's in this truth to meet up in a certain place every so often in order to do this or that, because we're all connected by the spirit. That's why you have brothers all over the earth, in various places, which of course the scriptures also says that in the book of Baruch. It says that we should prophesy the name of the Most High that has scattered, because that has scattered us all over the earth, right? So we know already by prophecy that we have brothers, bringing out this word all over the earth. And even though, majority, the brothers that are all over the earth, we haven't actually met each other before. That majority of the brothers that are in this street haven't actually met each other before. But that does not matter, right? Because we are all connected at the end of the day by the Holy Spirit, by the Spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, by the fact that we are Hebrew Israelites of the tribe of Abraham, of the line of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? We are the Israelites, and every individual in this ministry, right, that is what doing this thing in righteousness and sincerity is a part of this temple. So let me just end it right there. So with that, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahwashai, Ba'asham, Rachach, Wadash, Wa Abad Babal, and through the Spirit of your Akmayu Akwat were edified. Shalom.